What's up, everybody? John Delarose here, delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. I am a comic creator myself, and I will give a disclosure on this one. I've actually hired Aaron Lopresti as an artist who did the cover for my next major graphic novel that I'm working on. So I do have an association with him, but that doesn't color my my perception of the book. The reason I hired him is because I like his art. So that is going to be a thing here. I like to cover these indies here because you usually don't get these. You don't. Most people don't cover it. But Dark Horse published this. Lopresti himself is a artist who was on Wonder Woman, and he's just done a lot of work over the years. And like I said, I really liked his art, and that didn't change over the course of this. Garbage Man was his first attempt at crowdfunding, and I believe that didn't go very well. So this eventually got sold to Dark Horse instead. His current book, crowdfunding, is called Wraith of God, and it's really crushed it. I mean, it's making tons of money. And this was really enjoyable. So I'm very glad, I guess, spoilers, but it's a literal garbage man. And when I first heard it was Garbage Man, I was like, yeah, that's, people do these like superhero-y concepts, and I'm just like, that name isn't going to be something that resonates, because it's hard to relate to Garbage Man. And it is. And he's kind of a swamp thingy type of like creature of the lagoon sort of thing. And he comes out of radioactive waste. Doesn't know who he is. It's a pretty common righty trope that, people don't remember their background and all that. But, I mean, the art's cool. The design looks cool of the character. And then you get into his origin where it was like this science lab and they were injecting him with crap. And it was experimental. And then they just tossed his body. But guess what? They didn't expect him to come back. Very 90s layouts and all that. It did remind me of a like mid-90s image book, like a Savage Dragon or a Cyber Force or something like that out of this. And that was fun. The dialogue's actually pretty good. Lopresti did it himself, and usually like I can spot some artists doing dialogue problems with something like that, but I actually did not have any problem with that here. It's all done in like these little vignettes that are like a few pages long and seem like single issues that are kind of combined into this deal. He goes out and he's trying to get revenge on those who did this to him and trying to figure out who he is again. And you kind of learn he was a lawyer and he had this legal partner and he was divorced, and you start to learn a lot about him over the course of this. He fights a werewolf, and this is where it's both fun and good, and yet I feel like Lopresti might have thrown a little too many concepts into this. I see a lot of people when they kind of start out writing, like not like the art's off the charts, like everything's so detailed and beautiful. And I'm gonna have little to say about that, but I am a writer. So a lot of people throw in the kitchen sink when they get these concepts, and they just get too excited for too many ideas, and so it meanders a little bit in the storyline, and that happens here. So he fights that thing. He meets this like preacher who has this underground like commune or something like that he's going to go join. That reminds me of Venom. When Venom had this Lethal Protector miniseries, you go back to the 90s again. It gave me that vibe. It was cool. Now, Aaron Lopresti is really good at drawing females. I think he is one of the better in the industry at that. I think he draws very pretty women, and it was interesting to see a book that wasn't highlighting some pretty women very much. But eventually he finds out that he was working for this corporation. They're basically evil, and they're testing on humans, and he was trying to hide things from this gal, and now she's like kind of coming back into the fold and helping him over the course of this. And so he slowly uncovers his life. He meets there's like this superhero vigilante team like who shows up in the middle of it. Like I said, it's kind of all over the map, and they're investigating into this too. And then, of course, he has to fight a bunch of monsters in the sewers of this like thing where there's this kid who like can create monsters from another dimension. It was kind of, like I said, everything kind of goes all over the map. But the main storyline that does progress with the corporation and his background life is actually pretty good. And it kept me hooked enough to go through this. And these little like one-off monster fights, even though they come across as a little random, and it just feels like, while this is a single quote graphic novel, like this should have been, these monster fights should have happened like as kind of I don't know, issue 1, maybe if it was expanded a little more, issue 5, issue 6, issue 10, it would have come across a little more natural than it maybe did, as this guy kind of like is shoehorned a little into becoming a hero over the course of this. But like I said, the background life is good. The art's great. The superhero stuff's fun. And he does finally meet up with the owner of the company at the end of things, and kind of blackmails him. So there's edgy parts, and yet there's like parts that are like very much anti-edgy. It's a very odd in between sort of thing. But he decides he wants to be a hero at the end of this, and get redemption. And there's a lot of talk about redemption in this. There are some preachy moments in here where like there's the preacher who he meets, of course, is like gets into biblical references and things like that. But it really didn't slow the story down. It's just there. It is something to note. I like the looks of all these people. I like the looks of the characters, and it was a fun read. It was fast paced. The pacing was fantastic. Here's the Jesus saves and all that. I love the art, the background with that. Like I was very surprised because like there's a couple things in here. Like you get the religious aspect of it, but what you don't generally see in religious books is like a character who's like gone through a divorce or whatever getting redemption. That's some stuff that doesn't make you feel all that good about stuff like that. So some interesting character concepts on that part, which are memorable, and that's exactly what the comic should do. But super fast read, super fun read, and that's actually what's most important out of comic books. Lopresti's art's beautiful. I love it. 8 out of 10, and definitely worth the read. So pick this up. All right, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.